It really feels like we're in a battle for our attention, right? And let's be honest, it feels like we're losing. But what if the very tech that's distracting us could actually be our secret weapon to win it back? In this explainer, we're going to dive into the science of focus and figure out how to reclaim our attention in a world that seems designed to steal it from us.
Okay, let's be real. Have you ever picked up your phone to do one simple thing like check the weather, and then poof, 20 minutes are just gone? You've fallen down some social media rabbit hole. If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. And here's the important part. It's not a personal failing. It's actually a sign that our brains are being, well, rewired.
Yeah, you heard me right. You are literally being trained to be distracted. Think of our digital world as this giant training ground, constantly shaping our brains to crave these short little bursts of attention. But, and this is the good news, if our brains can be trained for distraction, that means we can retrain them for deep focus. Let's get into how that works. All right, so if we're going to win this fight for our own attention, we first have to understand the battlefield. And that battlefield, it's our own brain. So let's start with the science of exactly how our focus is getting hijacked. So there's this incredible concept called neuroplasticity. It basically just means our brain can rewire itself. I mean, think about it. When you practice a guitar, you're strengthening the musical pathways in your brain, right? Well, it's the exact same thing with our digital habits. We're strengthening the pathways for distraction. We're becoming absolute experts at switching tasks, but not so much at, actual deep focus. And this is where the dopamine loop comes in. Honestly, it is as addictive as a slot machine. No exaggeration. You pull the lever, or in this case, you scroll, and you might get a reward. That reward on social media is that next funny video, that interesting post. You never know when it's coming. That unpredictability triggers a little rush of dopamine that just keeps us scrolling and scrolling. And what we're really doing is training our brains to think that boredom is a problem that has to be solved immediately with more stimulation. Okay, so all this constant switching back and forth, it has a hidden cost. Some people call it a toggle tax on our mental energy, and it's a perfect name for it. Every single time we jump from our work to check a notification and then try to jump back, we pay a price, a steep one, and that price is our focus and our productivity. And when I say steep, I mean steep. Get this, it can take over 23 minutes, 23, to get back into that deep focus zone after just one little interruption. Now, just for a second, think about how many times you get interrupted in a typical hour. Yeah, when you add it all up, the cost is absolutely staggering. And look, this distraction tax, it hits everybody. But it's especially tough on developing brains. For adults, it's like a thief that steals our time and productivity, leaving us feeling mentally drained. But for kids and teenagers, it's even more serious. It can actually get in the way of developing impulse control. That crucial part of the brain that helps us focus and engage in deep work. Okay, so this is where the story takes a really interesting turn. We've got this incredibly powerful new tool, AI, and a lot of people are, understandably, worried it's just going to make things worse. Accelerate this slide into total distraction. But what if the opposite is true? What if AI could actually be the key to getting our focus back? This right here, this is the mental shift we need to make. AI doesn't have to be a crutch that makes our brains lazy. Instead, think of it like a prosthetic for focus. It's a tool that can extend and even enhance our own mental abilities. And the best part? The choice of how we use it is completely up to us. So really, we're standing at a crossroads. We have two paths we can take with AI. Path number one is cognitive atrophy. That's where we just offload all our thinking, our mental muscles get weak. Not great. But then there's path number two, cognitive augmentation. This is where we use AI as a partner to sharpen our minds, to help us think deeper. That's the path we want. So the big question is, how do we make sure we take that second path, the one with cognitive augmentation? Well, let's get practical. Let's talk about some actual strategies for turning AI into a legit tool for focus. And really, the difference between these two paths comes down to how we use the tool. Look at path A, passive use. That's just asking for the final answer. It's a mental shortcut, plain and simple. Now look at path B, active use. This is where you ask AI for summaries. You ask it to generate questions. You're turning it into a thinking partner, and you're giving your brain a real workout. That's the goal. So let's break it down. How exactly can AI help us focus? Well, for one, it can act as an amazing filter. It can cut through all the digital clutter and just give you the info you actually need, reducing that cognitive load. Two, it can be what you might call an intention gatekeeper. It can help keep you on task when you feel that urge to wander off. And third, It can literally be a debate partner, a sparring partner to challenge your ideas and force you to think more critically.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. These are things you can start doing today to rebuild your focus. Let's walk through what we can call your AI Wellness Toolkit.
Okay, here's your toolkit. Step 1, state your intent. Before you start a task, use AI to help you create a clear roadmap. It'll keep you on track. Step 2, use AI as a mirror. Have it summarize your own writing or arguments back to you. This forces you to engage more deeply with your own ideas. And step 3, offload the chore but keep the core. Let AI handle the tedious busy work so you can save your precious mental energy for the stuff that actually matters.
You know, the bottom line is this. We are not just passive victims of technology. We're not helpless here. We have the power to choose how we engage with these tools. We can be the architects of our own attention, not just mindless consumers of content. And that brings us to maybe the most powerful idea of all. Attention isn't some fixed thing you're born with. It is a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained. The very same technology that helped fragment our focus can now be used to help us rebuild it, and maybe even make it stronger than it was before. We really can choose to be the masters of our technology, not its servants. We can build a digital world for ourselves that actually supports deep thinking, instead of just endless scrolling. The power to reclaim your focus is truly in your hands. So, the only question left is, how will you train yours?